Yeah. But he's like, can you learn bass guitar? And I was like, I guess so. He goes, okay, learn bass guitar.
Yeah.
And then he calls up his buddy Jack from high school who hadn't played drums in like 5 years. And he goes, I need a drummer.
Dang.
Do you want to play for 21 Pilots?
Yeah.
Open for 21 Pilots. He goes, yeah, quits his job. So I'm taking piano and I'm like, Mom, what are the odds that I grow up and I literally become a musician? There's no possible way. I'm not going to do piano because there's no way I'm becoming a musician. Lo and behold, she let me quit. And
really? That's not what I thought. Sorry.
And then after that, I'm like, dang it, I like music now.
They have a shake called the chocolate cake shake.
That
I've wanted to try.
Top moment of tour.
I want for me, it was really good. For me, I wanted to try it since like middle school.
That's on my list now for sure.
There's a comedian called Fluffy, and he has
Gabriel.
He has a whole bit on the chocolate cake shake. And I remember when I watched that, I was like, I can't wait to try this someday. So that was like a moment of truth for me. I was like, oh, I got to try the chocolate cake shake.
All right, everybody, welcome back to season 2, episode 6 of the Kind of Consistent podcast. And today we have the Columbus and Akron outfit, Jady, and they have one of the most energetic and well-timed live shows I've seen. And to put the icing on the cake, some local boys, which I just love to see. So, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much.
You.
How are you?
I'm good, bro. How about you?
Good. Very good. Very good. It's good to be in Cleveland. Drove 2 hours for
Thursday morning.
the pod. On a Thursday morning. Dude, that was an early Thursday morning. I woke up at 1 in the afternoon yesterday.
Dang.
It was pretty bad.
Shocker.
Yeah, it's not a shocker. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
You're a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Is it just studio stuff or just in general?
Yeah, just in general, I feel like. But yeah, I feel like it's a pretty widely known thing. I feel like that people are just more creative at night. I don't know.
Low key, I used to fully feel that, but I cook between 10 and 1.
Really?
10 a.m., 1 p.m. That's prime hours for me.
Dude, really?
Just maybe I turned 23 and I was like, dang, let's go.
Dude, I used to be able to stay up so late, but we'll be making something, we'll be in a studio, and he can go till 4 in the morning. And my max now is 1, and I'll doze off at 12:30, 12:45. Dude,
even
I have to go to bed. We've been here for 9 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It is intense. I can't stop myself, dude.
I mean, when you're in the zone though, you don't want to stop yourself.
Right, dude. It's like you might lose it if you go to sleep. I feel I just can't leave it.
Yeah, I feel super strongly about that. There's a bunch of times where because a lot of what I do is just music journalism. I also like doing newsletter. And I think those take the most inspiration. The rest you can kind of just do planning.
Right.
But anytime just the flow of consciousness comes to me, I'm just I'm sorry, I need to step away. I need to finish this writing. No matter what it is, I just need to get it done.
Exactly.
So I think it's just, and I think there was a quote from Michael Jackson. He said, if an idea comes to me and I don't make it, Prince is going to make it. So
that's a yes.
Yeah,
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I literally cannot rest until that idea is down when it's and then I feel if I don't put it down, then it's I missed out on something.
For sure.
So it's I'll be up until the wee hours of the morning and I'm losing sleep is so worth a good idea.
Every time.
I always feel it. Yeah. Every time.
So you do all your work out of a home studio, or do you guys work somewhere else?
Yeah, so out of a home studio, I've been accumulating gear in this studio ever since I was in 8th grade. So that's when I started my love for production. And
do you want to give us a 1 to 2 minute intro on your story?
Dude.
Because I got a hour 15
version. Absolutely. And let me know if I go for too long.
Sure.
But yeah, I had actually not always loved music. Early on in my elementary school years, I was forced to play piano, and I did not want to play piano. And my mom was like, you have to play piano. All of your brothers said you had, they played piano and they begged me to quit, and I let them quit, and I'm not letting you quit. And I was like,
and how many brothers do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
Okay, so there's a few tries before you.
Yeah, few tries, right. And so I'm taking piano, and I'm like, Mom, what are the odds that I grow up and I literally become a musician? There's no possible way. Like, I'm not going to do piano because there's no way I'm becoming a musician. Lo and behold,
Yeah.
she let me quit. And
Oh,
now,
really? That's not what I thought it started
and then after that, I'm like, dang it, I like music now. And so around like going into middle school, I started to develop this love for music and just kind of like the feelings and emotions that evoked within me, and how it really helped me communicate how I would, feel. And I felt like that really met me like no other person or thing had. But I was like, I want to be able to create that experience for my own self, where it's like you can listen to a specific song. And I've always had this feeling where it's like, if I could recreate that feeling that this specific song gave me, or if I could find another song that also gives me that same feeling, where it's like, I want to feel this very specific way. And I know that only one song in the world can make me do that. Maybe a few other songs can come close to it, but nothing does it like that one song. And I was like, I want to take that feeling and be able to like create songs out of that. And so that was kind of like where I started my love for music, and but actually creating it. I remember I had an English project in my 8th grade year of school, and a couple buddies.
Where'd you grow up? Like, I know Columbus, but like what part?
Yeah, let's see. It was around like Delaware.
Oh, my old roommate lived in Delaware.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's like the only suburban part of Columbus I'm familiar with.
Dude, no way. Yeah, Delaware, man. That's where it's at.
That's a really nice area.
Yeah.
I love going there.
Dude, it's awesome. It's a great place to grow up. But yeah.
We'll carry on. I just was curious.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, English project. My buddies, we came together, and I was going through a weird music phase where I really liked heavy metal. So
Right.
I was a metalhead in 8th grade.
Are you a metalhead at all, Ashton?
Oh, I used to be as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't hit it yet, to be honest. I've listened to like Through the Fire and the Flames.
Okay.
Of Guitar Hero.
Okay.
but, like,
Okay.
outside of that.
I mean, like, dude, it's a weird phase. Because you start and you're like, why would anybody like this? And then you get acclimated to it. You start to understand the certain types of screaming, and then you're like, you develop a taste for it.
You like ease
Yeah.
yourself into it, and you know what kind of metal you like. I mean, I don't really like it anymore,
For sure.
but like
at the time.
definitely like 8th grade through like junior, senior year, I was into a lot of. I feel like a lot of musicians
Right.
go through that phase where like metal is something that they're really into or something that they're inspired by.
Yeah, and you can take influence from anything, you know? So, like, I'm sure it, like, showed up in some way at some point in your drumming. Or, like, just how you guys
100%.
make your music.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
it's all formative.
What'd you listen to metal-wise?
Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, they're
was
fire.
was a really big
That counts
one.
as metal?
Yeah, or okay,
like-
Beartooth. I also liked
Okay,
Beartooth. I mean
gotcha.
that. Yeah, I think
I think they I've just never thought about
early
it. You know?
Bring Me the Horizon
Okay.
was very metal,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
kind of went into a different direction, more experimental. But yeah,
Mhm.
Bring Me the Horizon and Beartooth were the two that I really was into for a while.
Yeah. How about you?
I think, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon for sure.
Bring me Verizon.
Bring me Verizon, not AT&T,
Favorite.
dude. What's another good one? August Burns Red. Have you heard
Yeah.
Wolves at
I'm
the
not
Gate?
traveled at
Wolves at
all
the
in
Gate.
metal. I
mean-
didn't know Bring Me the Horizon was metal, so I guess I know a little more than I thought. But
Yeah,
outside of that, I don't know if I know much. My
Yeah.
little brother loves like Swedish metal or something.
dude.
He's a fiend.
Viking metal.
He loves Viking
exists.
stuff.
Does
too.
he? Dude,
He
I
loves like
saw.
the sea shanties. He loves like Swedish metal. He loves like
That's sick.
That's unreal. I saw footage from a Viking metal concert, and there's like statues of like Vikings on stage.
that's what I was hoping.
Yeah,
Is
and
there,
it's like
a ship.
like a double kick drum. Like it's that for an entire concert. Like you don't. There's no dynamics. It's just. It's crazy. You got to do the piggery.
For sure.
Jeez,
Light a
dude.
few things on fire.
Dude, light a few things on fire. We might have to take influence on our next album.
For real, why not?
Yeah.
Napalm?
Like, right, Napalm. That's actually what the album. It's not out yet,
Mhm.
but like, you know, by the time you're hearing this, it might be out, and
think-
it's Viking metal.
The goal is to drop it. I guess it's up to you guys. Actually, we could
Okay.
do. I think so. A week from tomorrow is. So I think that's the 11th. So we could
Okay.
do the 11th. We could do the 19th, or we could do after that. You guys have like a preference?
Dude.
I'm not doing tomorrow, but I'm cool with next Friday. Cool with just for why not mark it on air? You know?
Yeah, dude. There you go. I mean, like,
Figure out our marketing
figure out the market, dude.
right
I mean,
now.
Open the curtain.
Yeah, we'll be like, yeah, let's do the 11th, and this comes out in like 3 years. Like, jeez.
Some
Yeah.
people stockpile episodes, dude.
Yeah.
I did for a little, but it was no more than like a month.
Wow. That's a grind.
Yeah,
But that must feel
It helps
good.
with editing, and it
Right.
does feel good because you like get to another phase, but you don't have to like work on what you're putting out. So
Right.
it seems like you're doing so much more in the moment than you are, which
Right.
is sick. I'm a big fan of that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I think it'll probably come out before.
Okay. Okay. That
Um,
makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess share what you guys will with that in mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, dude, the 11th, man, that would be sick.
Yeah, let's yeah.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Or I guess as it's happening.
Heard it here first. Yeah. Maybe it's
So-
happening. Maybe it's not. Who knows?
Yeah, things change, you know.
I guess so.
Um,
But yeah, dude, freaking this project, we were reading as a class The Hobbit. And there's a couple poems in The Hobbit about like Smaug, the dragon. And so
Okay,
one of
gotcha.
the like points in the list was like you could make a song. So me and my buddies, like, you know, we liked a lot of metal music at the time, so we came together and we had no idea how to make music. I
yeah,
kind of like tried to write on my own, but it was like, you know, your cringe middle school
for
writing.
sure.
And came together and we were like, dude, let's take this poem and make a metal song out of it. And so we went and we talked to my buddy who
That's so fire.
I know it was
I love that.
unreal. We went to my buddy who was in a band, and he produced some, and he was really good at it at the time. And we asked him, hey, we have a school project. Can you help us? And he literally stayed up till like the wee hours of the morning, like 4 a.m, producing this really high quality metal song for us. And like it was singing about Smaug the dragon. It was gas.
Yeah,
That was the first time I had ever sang, literally ever, never in front of anybody. And he was like, "Okay, you can sing now." And I was like, "I've never sang before." And he goes, "Okay,
Yeah.
the mic's on, go for it. This is what you're supposed to sing." He sang the melody, threw me on, and threw some auto-tune on there.
yeah,
And
got to.
it was so bad, but like he didn't let me hear it until he put the auto-tune on, and I was like, I can do this.
Yeah,
And then immediately went home, bought Logic Pro X, which is what I
Still
and
use.
tried making music. And he had like years of experience under his belt, and I did not.
in
so-
8th grade.
He wasn't in 8th grade.
Okay,
He was
I
a
was-
little.
in my head, it
but
was just
I
like
was.
lunch table type stuff.
Could you imagine? Well, I went home and I tried making music, and I was like, okay, this is gonna take a while to get to where he was at. And
Yeah.
so I just YouTube University every
sure.
single day. I sucked at all sports in school. So
I think you're either good at music or you're good at sports.
that
It
is
doesn't usually overlap,
Bro.
at least to like a really high degree.
right. Exactly. Like I feel like it's always evenly distributed but it's never like both that
Yeah.
you're insane at. A
Especially when you're
prodigy.
growing up. I think it
Right.
changes like over time, but like you're either in band or you played like tennis.
Right.
You know?
It's
It's just one of the two.
Well, you were a baller.
Yeah, I played sports.
Dang,
I
what'd
think
you
we
play?
I think we talked about it a little bit.
Did you play basketball?
Yeah, I played
Okay.
basketball. and
That did like
track.
cross my mind. I'm like, dang, that could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I did basketball and track, and I was in the stages of figuring out if I wanted to do music or sports. And I slowly started to hate sports because of high school coaches.
Oh, for
They
sure.
have a
Which is
trend.
tough.
They have a trend of ruining things for you.
Yeah.
And so
That's tough. It really can like make or break somebody's experience in that.
yeah,
which sucks.
and it
Whether it's
kind
club,
of
high school, like
yeah, they kind of did that for me. So I always grew up playing drums. That's something I did as a child, and I always was playing drums, especially in high school. But I was always going the back and forth of like, okay, do I want to keep doing sports, or do I want to like really take drums seriously? And I think it was like freshman, sophomore year when I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna really take drums seriously. So I was like 13, 14 when I was like, okay, this is like,
okay.
I'm really gonna start doing this.
Pretty early to figure that out. which is sick. And kind of, obviously, it sucks that your coaches made an experience for something you like not good, but I think it worked out.
Right?
Yeah, I
Overall,
think it
we're on a
worked
good
out.
path. Also, I really like your hat. I just
thank
noticed
you.
it.
I think I wore it on the first podcast too.
Maybe I said that on the last one.
Dude,
Bro.
That's an Ashton classic hat.
Japanese marble soda.
feel
Ramune.
like- I would remember that. I don't think I noticed.
Dude,
Maybe I was just nervous.
you guys should get some in the office. You can buy it anywhere. It's
You have to put us on.
pretty sweet.
Maybe we'll try to get them to sponsor the pod room.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the marble soda?
No,
Like,
I've never
It's
heard of it
so-
outside
it
of
is
your
so
hat.
good.
So it's where the marble, is it in the cap,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you press it down,
You have to pop the marble
Oh, I
down,
have seen those.
and then you can drink it. Yeah, it's cool.
and
It's
it like
fun.
doesn't it dissolve kind of like?
Not the marble,
Oh,
but the marble always stays in there. You can't get it out, so
Okay.
it'll kind of like cling around.
Yeah.
But-
Do you think you guys will ever try to get like a brand deal with
dude.
them? You think that's top
For
goal?
Ramoon. Oh yeah, for marble
Yeah.
soda. Yeah, like brand deals. I'm kind of like I don't know. I kind of know what I want, and what I don't
Yeah.
want, I guess. But marble soda, yeah. Like if I could get sponsored by that, bring that on tour with me. Yeah,
That'd be sick,
I'd be
dude.
so happy.
What would you say your dream like brand deal would be? Would it be like your Warhead? Was it a drink for that? Or was it a chip? The one you posted on your story.
The Pocky one chip challenge.
Oh, dude, that was.
You literally like the main thing I was keeping up with you guys' tour was your snack choice pre-tour.
Dude, yeah, I was so happy with the responses on
Yeah.
those
How
posts.
could we not? I've never heard of like 70% of what you posted.
Dude, I literally would go to gas stations are like the spot.
Yeah,
on
that
tour.
has to
Like
be a
you,
gas
Like
station
you
pickup.
go
Dude.
like gas stations are like in the top 3 most exciting places to go to when you're on tour. So like when it's that time when it's like, okay, let's find a gas station, you're like, oh, like yes, like I get to like go like get food or drink. Like that's
Sustenance, you know?
like the spot to hang out for like 10 minutes. And every time we'd stop, I would go and I'd search for just the weirdest, craziest spicy snacks. And like some of them
Yeah.
were like pretty normal in the beginning, but then I started running out
You gotta
of
ease
stuff.
into it, you know?
I was kind of running out of spicy snacks, and so we'd go to more jank gas stations, and I'd find more jank.
Like the non-name brand ones.
Yeah. Like there was like ghost pepper Hers Puffs, which is like nobody eats these.
For sure. Those have to have been on the shelf for a really long time.
Yeah, they were not great, but
Well, it was like halfway through tour, and he walks in with this bag from the gas station, and pulls out an onion,
Like a
like a
literal
raw
circular
onion,
Yeah, I
and
was-
just starts taking a picture of this onion. And I'm like,
I don't think
so
they saw
like,
that.
we just got so obscure on the picture.
I never posted those, but I had
Man, you gotta let the people in on the
I had a
bro.
couple ideas of how I wanted to go about it through tour, and one of them was I'm gonna get more obscure
Yeah, I
as
love
the
that.
tour goes, and by the time our last show, it's gonna be something crazy. So like I went and got like Swedish hot dogs, which I didn't know existed, and then
Dang,
there
from
was
where? Was that a gas
that
station pickup? Or
that
like
was
an
a-
IKEA pickup?
that was a gas station pickup. They're yeah,
That sounds like it could do
It's a
some
liability, dude.
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's like you're wanting food poisoning.
I totally left that in the van in the bag for a good 2 days, and we were like, man, like why does it smell in here? And I was
Yeah.
like, the diffuser's running, like we got, but it wasn't working. I was like, oh, the Swedish hot dogs are still in here.
Dang,
That
dude.
was dank. That was
So for
pretty-
tour, did you guys get a tour bus, or did you? Because I think was it the first tour that you did with Hello Luna with a truck?
So actually, yeah, we were running out of a tour van, like a Sprinter van. So
For the first one or for this one?
yeah, we ran it for Hello Luna as well.
Okay.
And
Maybe I just saw like you driving to Jared's or something.
Oh, I see.
Maybe.
maybe.
My main info is off of your story.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'm
Right.
now realizing.
But yeah, dude, the Sprinter van, it served us well. We even built like some DIY decks in there. Like,
Oh, so do you own it?
yeah, we
Okay.
do.
And did,
Mhm.
for this tour, was it like you two and Keelan, or did you have like
Yeah.
Devin or something for sound? Or
So yeah, it was just the three of us. So yeah, me, Ashton, and our manager Keelan. Yeah.
the
but-
homie?
Oh yeah, dude. Freaking Keelan, man.
Well, I found out Keelan gets breakfast, I think, before or after church with somebody I just met like a couple weeks ago. His name's Adam Paddock.
Everybody and their mom knows
Yeah.
Adam.
I like just met him.
How did you? I was the second you said that. I
knew you were gonna
knew
say Adam.
exactly.
Everybody,
Yeah.
and it's like because of Keelan too.
Yeah.
Like the connection with Keelan and Adam, somehow that is like in everybody's circle that
Well,
everybody
dude,
knows those
it
two.
just
Not
came
even
out.
that. Like before music. Well, not before music, but before like I even met you. Like there were people around town that like, yeah, you're trying to do music. You're trying to do the music thing. Do you know Adam Paddock?
Yeah, I
And I'm
met
like, bro.
I met Adam Paddock. So this is actually crazy. One of our first sessions. No. It was when we made Entropy together. Remember that session?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we made Entropy, and the next day I went to Crew at OSU, and I met Adam there.
And you didn't know.
I didn't know who. I met him. I was like, oh, like good stuff tonight, whatever. And then like 8 months later, like Adam, like kind of invited himself to come hang out with us for like an afternoon, and he came over, and I was like, dude, I think I met you like 8 months ago. He's like, yeah.
Dang. I feel
Dude.
like he's just the type of dude who knows everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, well,
Super energetic. We've only had a
he's-
phone call even.
Right,
Like,
Adam, I hope you're watching because
yeah,
you
I'll
are.
text him. I'll let
dude.
him know.
Yeah, we have a whole Adam Paddock segment.
Yeah.
He is an awesome dude, and he is such a hustler in his music. I don't know if you've
Facts.
seen that yet.
Yeah,
But
I've seen it like
man.
glimpses of it, and he, even just the way he speaks about it,
Right.
is almost like he like gives voice to what I wanted to say. Like I feel like
Wow.
he just knows like kind of just like what he wants to do in every outlet, like live performing. The one Ohio against the world, is it Columbus against the
Yeah,
world?
Columbus against the world.
Yeah,
Right.
That,
It's an awesome.
even just the way he talks about social media, like I felt
Right.
so heard.
That's
like, just-
awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
shout out Adam.
I love his work ethic, and it's just
Yeah.
it's awesome. But dude, he was out on tour with King's Kaleidoscope.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah.
awesome, dude. Yeah.
Well, Adam might open up one of the next kind of consistent shows.
Dude,
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah,
that would be really hype.
You guys know who Noah Richardson is? By chance?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't think so.
So he's from Philly,
Okay.
and actually he played the Collective here once. I think, yeah, because you were familiar with that. Did you ever hear about the Collective?
I'm not. Yeah, I heard about it from Ashton, but yeah. I'm not-
Basically, I would just like Tommy would want to like bring community in, and then I would host and bring in artists. And I brought in this dude named Noah from Philly, and he was actually the one who introduced me to Adam.
Mm.
So it wasn't even Keelan. It was like a
Wow.
total like Instagram story moment
Interesting.
afterwards.
That's
which is
crazy.
wild. But yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah, that's
Wow.
nuts.
But yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, that is hilarious. Where was I? Where was I talking about?
I think you just bought Logic.
We just bought Logic. Okay.
Oh yeah, your story.
Yeah,
This is
I
the-
forgot
We'll just
about
come in and out, you know?
We've been in and out. I mean,
Yeah.
every story has to have an Adam Paddock segment.
For sure, yeah.
Um,
That's a must for me. I need to get him on the pod, but that's
Dude,
not
you
the main
should.
point.
You should.
Yeah,
Let's see. Yeah, we were working. I was working on music. Put out a few.
and also, before we go too much further,
Yeah.
do you think that you would have been as into music if you didn't have that metal like song about smog?
dude.
Like, do you think
no.
that, because that really kickstarts it, especially at a young age? We're so prone to hyperfixating as kids too.
Right.
Like I played Xbox for like 12 hours a day, like every day.
Right. Same
you
here.
know?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the magic that I felt when I initially saw somebody build a track from scratch, because I had GarageBand on my phone and would look up how to make trap beats.
For sure. I feel like everybody starts a trap.
Dude, I was like heavy. I wanted to be a trap producer at one point.
Yeah.
And it was like,
You could still pull it off.
jeez, that'd be so cringe.
No, you
Just
got
this
to,
white
though.
kid that tries and thinks that he's cool, man.
I
But
think you could be cool.
dude, we'll see. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
we
a
just
pivot.
like don't work out in 5 years and I'm just making trap beats.
Yeah.
Freaking, that'd be crazy.
You
Wait,
ever do production? Like on your own?
Not too much. It's mainly with drums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
pro-
Which
like-
is an art, for
Like
sure.
produce like fully fleshed out songs is never something I did or ever was really interested in doing. That's never something I thought was like, oh, like I want to be able to make a whole song. I think
For sure.
growing up when I would, open up Logic or GarageBand when I was in 8th grade freshman year, it was always just finding songs that I liked and then playing drums over those songs and figuring out how to make the drums sound cool. That's to me, that's all I really thought was cool. I was like, I don't really care about anything else. It's
Yeah, 'cause
just
it's
the
tough.
drums,
It's like
but-
very all encapsulating. So props to you for just
Dude, I
diving head
appreciate
first, dude. Like,
yeah.
that's really cool. What do you want
Dude.
to carry on?
Yeah, dude. That became my obsession. Yeah. Not being good at sports, dude. I felt like that was huge because like I would just come home and be like, "Dang, dude, I'm like not athletic. I'm like not on these sports teams." Like kind of like that's like kind of an uncool spot to be in. So it's like,
Especially
and I felt like,
being younger.
dude,
I
especially
think now it's cooler, but at the
Mhm.
time, like it was like sports was like,
dude,
gotta
for
do it,
sure,
like-
exactly. And I felt like that even has some themes on this album where it's like a lot of my identity was in how people viewed me, and so I would go home and like kind of use music to communicate those feelings, even if it wasn't lyrics, but just like the way that the song felt and the way that it sounded, the way those progressions. And I kind of really narrowed down, okay, this specific progression or this sound makes me feel this kind of way, and kind of capitalizing on that and just learning how to communicate those feelings. But yeah, I think just feeling kind of like an outcast helped me really focus on that. Like I used music to cope with that, and then unintentionally that became my passion, and then over time that I just invested more and more in time into that. And further on into my high school years, I eventually got to work with some buddies at high school that wanted to make music, and kind of got my feet wet in just like mixing somebody's vocals and being like, okay, this is the producing thing. This is,
Gotcha.
Do I want to be a producer or do I want to make my own music? And always in the back of my mind, I just had these visions of just like playing in front of people, which is weird because I was a very introverted kid.
You're just
And-
performing about smog.
Performing about smog, primarily about smog.
That was
This
the
is,
one.
I still cannot believe that was the catalyst.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, always in the back of my mind, I had like just this vision of playing in front of people, but not until my junior year or senior year. I don't think I ever performed in front of anyone once, like sang in front of any, besides maybe somebody in the studio,
Yeah.
but like never once. I was always too scared. So I was like, I don't know how this vision of performing in front of people could even be real, because it's like, I can't get in front of people. That just scares me. Like getting in front of people and singing was one of my greatest fears as a kid.
Yeah.
And finally, my junior year, before I met Ashton, I got some reps in and just like getting in front of people and singing. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And I met Ashton on just like this random like church camp scenario where we, like, some mutual friends just like introduced us to each other, and we're like, hey, this kid makes music and this kid plays drums. And then we're like, okay. And then we just got to talking, and it just like clicked instantly, and we're like, okay, cool. Like, and I was like, awesome. So if I ever need a drummer, like, he seems like he would love to drum. And then a few weeks later, I was actually working with Jay Joseph. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jay Joseph.
Yeah, for sure.
I was producing and mixing and mastering for him during my high school years. I think this is going into my senior year.
How did you guys meet? Were you
So
like,
yeah, funny enough,
they're all Columbus, right?
yeah, I feel like everybody in Columbus knows somebody from that pool of 21 Pilots people.
For sure.
So-
Yeah. Do you know Will Wark by chance? He's a photographer.
Yeah, he shot one of our shows at Columbus.
Oh, he actually did tell me that. Actually,
Yeah.
I think it was the
Yeah.
At
basement.
A&R.
Oh,
right,
A&R.
right.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
He shot that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he also said he knew people from that family, so it just makes sense.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
when I started to have that thought.
Right.
It's like everybody knows that.
Dude,
Yeah.
seriously, it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I had been in that realm, in the Columbus realm, where it was just like, and of course there's like, you know, there's something so inspiring to that when it's like in your hometown you see a band that's like really doing it, and it's like, man, like I really want to, you know, kind of do exactly what they're doing. I mean, it's so cool. And but having been in that realm and just like kind of connections just with them, I had known Jay kind of through school connections, and just family. But yeah, we had worked on music for a while. I had mixed and produced for him, and he calls me one day, and I'm on my way. It was the summer going into my senior year, and it was literally like 2 weeks after I met Ashton, and I was driving to my dry cleaning job. It's my first
Dang,
job ever.
That's the
and
hustle, bro.
Dude, the hustle, man. Folding clothes, washing them, and I was like, man, that was a time of my life where I was like, I really hope that music works out. This sucks.
Sure.
And so I'm driving to this job, and I'm just like, man. And I get a call from Jay, and he's like, dude, my older brother just asked me if I wanted to open up for him. So, like, and I was just like, holy crap. So songs that we mixed and produced together, you know, that I helped you make are going to be played by you for like thousands of people. And he's like, no, I want you in the band. I'm like, what am I going to play? He's just like,
Yeah.
do you know how to play anything fluently? And I'm like, not really. Like, I'm really not
Yeah.
great at everything.
Yeah.
But he's like, can you learn bass guitar? And I was like, I guess so. He goes, okay, learn bass guitar.
Yeah.
And then he calls up his buddy Jack from high school, who hadn't played drums in like 5 years. And he goes, I need a drummer.
Dang.
Do you want to play for 21 Pilots? Like,
Yeah.
open for 21 Pilots. He goes, yeah, quits his job.
For sure.
And so
No matter what's happening,
right.
that is the course.
And so, so we became a band, the three of us, and we toured. We got to open up for a couple. We did like 15 bar shows, so I kind of got a feel for like what playing at a bar, and you know, and I was young at the time. I think I was 17, and so this is my senior year of high school. So I was doing everything remote in the tour truck. But that kind of gave me a glimpse of like, okay, if this is what this is the music game. If I want it, this is what it's going to look like. And then got like the ultimate end product where it was like playing at arenas,
Yeah.
you know, opening up for 21 Pilots. And I was like, okay, holy crap. And I felt like that was all, like the ultimate master course, being able to watch a set like that every night and study it and be like, okay, this is how to put on a really entertaining show. Anyways, fast forward, I get back and I'm like, I think I feel like Jady is where I'm called to. And so I ended up leaving the J. Joseph band and starting Jady with Ashton. And since then we have played, I mean, around like 40 plus shows, I want to say.
Yeah, this year we probably hit around 40, I think.
Yeah.
I think the point I like met you guys, you had like 5 under your belt. It was like the same motel show. But
Right.
You guys just like hit the ground running.
Yeah,
Like
I
with Hello Luna.
yeah,
and
we
the
were, like-
astronomers.
we
We're just like,
were-
let's do it.
Yeah, that was like right before all that. So, I mean, when you met us professionally, I think we maybe had 10 shows.
Yeah, we might have
Yeah.
even had around 15 to 20 by that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had a decent amount.
Yeah, I probably just heard about like the, you know, like the first show that had a ton of people, A&R bar,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
motel. I think Katie
Yeah.
probably just told me that.
Yeah, and then I think right after that we had 2 or 3 tours, and yeah, so yeah, at this point I think we're around 40 this year.
Yeah.
But
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like probably the best way to get into, I guess, live music and music in general. Because like, I don't know, especially them being from Columbus.
Right.
Like, of course, it's like sick. One, just people being from Ohio,
mhm.
and just seeing artists in general that you resonate with. but being from your like actual city,
Right.
like, that carries way more weight than people could like ever know.
For
Right.
sure.
It's like the path is blazed, you know? Exactly. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
possible. So,
Right.
There's a lot of layers to that too, because it's also like, and no hate to it at all, but like Nashville bands, there's thousands of artists in Nashville,
sure.
and
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's one of the funnest and coolest cities to be in and playing. That I think we've had 4 shows in Nashville this year, and that's by far one of my favorites.
Oh, you guys just played the emo night thing?
We did do
Yeah.
emo night. We did, yeah. We did emo night at Marathon Music Works, and then this past month we played at the Basement.
Okay, I wasn't sure
Nashville.
if you were on the tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of cool layers to being from a town and being from a city that's not super big like Nashville or LA or one of like the bigger populated cities, but being in like Ohio there's so much more of a real community that like you can
for
feel
sure.
a lot more connected to, and there's a lot of layers behind that, and I think
Especially growing up in it, you know?
yeah,
Like,
and I
you
think
just have like your family and people.
right,
supporting
and
you,
I
you
think
know?
I think that's such a good way to even just have your shows be so much more connected to the people, to where it's like versus like playing at a show in LA, you're gonna have all these you might have 20 random people that you just don't know, and you're playing at this bar, and
For sure.
but like when growing up in a smaller town with all your family and friends, starting out, how like it was for me and Jarrett, is we played in front of our family and friends. Like we got everybody that we could possibly know from our 2 towns that we grew up in. And that immediately kick-started a whole different level of intimacy and communication with the people in our crowds that we play in front of. And I think there's something really special to that, you know, some people don't always get to have, which is that
For sure.
intimacy with crowds, you know. And now it's like, it doesn't really matter who's in our crowds. It could be family, friends, grandparents, or it could be totally random people, and you know, we'll always make that connection with them and make them feel like they're a part of something. And yeah, I think that's something that's cool about, you know, being
absolutely.
from Ohio and doing music, is it gives you that ability.
For sure, because I feel like a lot of people I've talked to just don't really have that type of like communal upbringing almost within music, you know? Because it just like means so much more to have like your best friends and like your parents in the crowd headbanging, and then some people you've never met, and just it really is amazing. And I think I'm starting to see that the more I meet like artists like you guys, and just working with people like locally, and just seeing, you know, like there is a community. It's just not as big and condensed as the LAs, the Nashvilles, and everything
Right.
else. So
Yeah.
no, it's really cool.
Right.
But one thing I want to get into is the new album.
For sure.
So I guess the perfect way to start that off is the promo for Ghostman. So sick, dude. The website.
Thank you.
Like that was amazing.
Oh, you played it. Did you play
for sure. Right once I saw, I was like, I got to do this.
That's amazing. Yeah.
How did that come about?
I remember I pitched
So
the idea to the guys, and I was like, what if we made a video game? And they're like, that sounds cool and all, but who's going to make it?
For sure. Like, how do you do that?
and then I went down this rabbit hole of like 20 hours like programming this game. And
You programmed it?
Yeah.
No way, dude.
But like, it uses this educational platform called Scratch,
Yeah.
which is like a platform for like 10-year-olds to learn how to like code things.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up videos how to like use this program, and I'm not even kidding. 8-year-olds are making YouTube tutorials. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's not an exaggeration. There's like just these squeakers making tutorials on like how to make games with this, and I'm following that. Like, they know what they're talking about, and it's like complicated algebra, and I'm like, okay, this is humbling, but eventually it worked. And
Dang, that's amazing, dude.
but it was a cool expression, and like it didn't even feel like a waste of time at the end. It was like it was an expression of, you know, art, and it was fun, and it, you know, I felt like it encapsulated some influences of like, I feel like it's reminiscent of games I used to play when I was growing
For
up.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
It felt familiar. I
Right.
don't fully know why.
Yeah.
It sort of gave me like Flappy Bird, like with the graphics.
A little bit.
Like not even like the Pokemon games. Kind of
Yeah.
where you like control that one character, you have pretty limited movement.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
cool.
glad you enjoyed it.
For sure.
I had a few people a little freaked out with that jump scare at the end. I hope that people like turn up the volume all the way and they're like listening really close and then just get screamed at.
Yeah, I think I kind of expect that with the stuff you guys do. 'Cause I feel like it's like really orchestrated to be like larger than the music and kind of be like an experience with like a storyline that carries. Like there's just a common thread,
Right.
which is really cool.
Right. That's exactly it. And I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah. Yeah, with this record, we even we kind of established some kind of narrative with the Haze. And that narrative is me and Ashton being in this dark realm, and it's kind of explored more in the first record, The Haze. But that that record kind of explores us coming away from that and being like, okay, something needs to change. We need to escape this. And so that's the initial, we need to escape. Now, Napalm kind of picks up from where that left off. It kind of shows some relapse, going back to recognizing some symptoms of being in that darker realm. It kind of covers this identity crisis, I feel like, that we've experienced in the past year, of being presented with that added variable of some kind of momentum and some success, if you could even call it that, the past year. For sure success, but definitely like, you know, stuff that we want to hold on to. Numbers start climbing, we're playing shows, people are showing up, and we want more of that. And this kind of question was raised to the both of us, like, are we willing to sacrifice our identity and integrity for more of that? And Napalm kind of explores that concept of, are we willing to do that? And because we walked into Jady with very specific convictions and goals and wanting to maintain that throughout this, but we've been presented with, you know, we see bands that are, you know, making other songs that we wouldn't kind of make, but that's what's working. Are we going to end up veering off into that path and start
follow the trends type
right
thing.
right and you
Hard
know,
not to do, honestly.
it is
You just know what's popular.
right,
you know?
exactly, it's what's working. And yeah, like ultimately compromising who we are as artists. And so that was this question with this album, especially with the pressure to be like, to succeed the Haze and make something that's better than that, to make a live show that's better than that. And yeah, so that's what Napalm covers. I feel like what kind of helps people maybe understand from where I write from is I'm a huge people pleaser. And so
Sure, we all are.
right,
you know?
exactly.
Try not to be.
And so on the Enneagram, have you taken the Enneagram? So I'm a type 2, which is
Okay.
yeah, the
Gotcha.
helper.
What are you?
I think I'm a 4 and a
I was
9.
gonna say you're
in
a
a
4.
minute, but
That's
I think
what
it's a 4.
I'm a 4 as well.
Oh, fire.
Mhm.
Yeah. What does 4 mean again?
4 is the introverted, emotional one. They want to feel accepted or appreciated, but they think they overthink a lot, and they're kind of to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need to take that
You're-
again. It's been
Dude.
that was like a minute ago.
Yeah, I remember the
It's-
first time I took it, it was completely different. But now,
for
like,
sure.
when I really honestly answer those questions on that, I feel like it has helped me understand so much of my own self and also other people, like in relationships, where it's like, that's how they're thinking. And it makes so much more sense. But yeah, when I researched what a 2 is, it's called the helper. And kind of dives into wanting to please others and wanting to be what makes people happy, and, you know, have kind of feed off of that energy that people are like, oh, you know, I like this kind of person. And having grown up where it was like, you know, I wasn't really the coolest kid in high school, you know, making music, not really good at sports or anything. And so constantly being on the outside, I feel like there was always that question of, do I compromise to gain that kind of acceptance? And there's even a song on this record called Skinwalker, which is a pretty jarring.
That's graphic.
If people might notice with my song titles, I try and have like a really jarring name for a song to kind of hook people. Right.
Is that intro?
It's I think it's track 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm gonna look through your albums while you explain that.
Yeah.
Just
So
to see.
it's hilarious. Yeah, I remember one of the first times I saw that. It was after a show that me and Ashton played in Michigan. We were sitting in a hotel room. We were trying to figure out what to watch, and we were like scrolling through Netflix, and we found Skinwalker Ranch.
Dang, I don't even want to know what that is.
Trash.
It was
show.
not. We watched like 30 minutes of it, and we we're like, bro,
So cringe.
it's a bunch of old dudes that think like over analyzing, like the wind is blowing like a little harder than yesterday, and they're like, aliens exist, and it's like. So
what's it?
Skinwalker Ranch is a place that
Skinwalker Ranch.
actually exists. I think it's in Utah.
Yeah.
And essentially what happens.
Doesn't surprise me actually.
Right.
That feels right.
It's only in Utah.
Skinwalker
Dude.
Ranch, dude.
But apparently like
I wonder what
weird.
that tastes like as a flavor. You know,
Skinwalker
Skinwalker Ranch.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's an idea. Some Hidden Valley Skinwalker Ranch.
Brand
we're
deal.
going. Sorry, I didn't get that. Intrusive thoughts.
I was like,
just a tad.
taste of a ranch.
For sure.
Dude, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But it's a real place where it's like apparently like supposedly like weird things, like paranormal things happen there. But
Yeah.
anyways, I looked up what is a skinwalker, and that is a Navajo mythical creature that can portray and shapeshift to portray itself as a human, but really it's this monster. So it's like this in Navajo, lore. There's this skinwalker who can portray itself to be a human, but in reality it's this monster underneath. And so I was like, I felt like that kind of properly communicated how I felt, where it was like sometimes I feel like people can look at me where it's like I'm just this freak or this monster, and how the only way that I'm able to make them feel, except that number 2 in me, where it's like the only way I can make them feel, and accept me is if I portray myself to be just like them, even if it's nothing like who I actually am. Yeah. And so that song kind of, and that's socially, but like ultimately in music too, where it's like, the sound of your music, where it's like, it's the only way that I'm going to be accepted in, music, to portray myself in a way that I'm not, like, and ultimately in the bridge of that song, the lyrics are, if there's a time that's right, then let it be tonight to be myself. Like, so it ultimately comes back to, if it means that people are going to, reject me for being myself, like, it's better. It's so much better than sacrificing one's integrity just for some fleeting feeling of acceptance that's, you're always going to want more of it. And just me as a number 2, but I mean, I feel like that's not exclusive for just like people that are number 2. I mean, like you said, everybody is a they're all people pleasers. But I felt like, this album really covers a lot of like having seen success and wanting it to continue. It's like, how much are you willing? Are you willing to sacrifice? And the title track of our album, Napalm, talks about that, where it's like, this is when you're presented with these kinds of things, when you're presented with momentum, this is when you see your true colors. Like, this is when you start to see who you actually are. And this album, there's a lot of back and forth. It's kind of this crisis of, okay, this is who I am, and I'm not changing. Then the next song will be completely different. It'll be like, now I'm heavily considering, like, because then it's like, me and Ashton want to provide for our families one day, and we want to be able to make art that meets people where they are, that actually means something. And when I put that kind of pressure on the music, it just scares me. And then I ultimately like choke the life out of my creativity. And that's what this past year felt like, where it was like the pressure to eventually succeed, provide for family, and all these kinds of things just scared us. And so we were like, we want to, I felt like that really influenced a lot of the topics on the songs. the pressure to make something and be what other people want us to be. But you can't please everybody, and that's a hard reality for me, because it's like I want to, but it's like, man, you know, not everyone's gonna like it.
For sure.
So
that builds to be a really cool narrative. One, you guys just choose really good titles to like kind of build a world around, because like the haze, like that already feels like descriptive, and you can kind of like make your own kind of sauce with it.
right.
But napalm, you get some pyrotechnics up in there.
We're gonna light the stage on fire.
Viking shows.
Yes,
Go
it
back.
all comes back, dude. That's so funny.
No, that's really cool, and I think that's something all creatives I feel like need to come to terms with too.
Right.
Because like I think we all know a trend. We've all like done a trend in some way, whether it's like on like the back end or even like publicly like made a video to fit something that you know will be successful.
You're so right,
But
dude. Yeah,
that's cool. I'm gonna take a lot out of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, napalm, kind of the symbol for the record, given that it's all about, you know, identity and integrity within that. But the symbol for the record is a house, a haunted house. So that's actually the cover of our record.
Yeah.
And inside
Have you
this
shared
house,
the photo anywhere yet?
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure
yeah.
if I saw it yet.
Yeah. Oh, I can show you off camera.
For sure.
Woo! Some exclusive info.
When does
But
the album drop again?
October 20th.
Okay, that's I didn't want to botch it, but yeah. You'll see October 20th.
October 20th. But yeah, so on the cover, so who lives in this haunted house is this character who represents somebody who is fully indulgent in this world that me and Ashton were trying to escape in the past record. And because of him being fully indulgent in that, he has turned into something less of what he was intended to be originally. So he has turned into this ghostly figure because of that.
Okay. Got you.
And so fast forward, me and Ashton are, you know, we have made the decision that we're going to abstain from that darkness. And but often I feel like in the industry we can get complacent, and we can feel like we've got a level head on our shoulders, and we can be like, okay, our integrity's in check. And then we can let our guard down, and then all of a sudden it's like we start living in this haunted house. We start seeing the writing on the wall that says you need to leave. There's something wrong here. We start seeing these paranormal things, furniture moving, weird things are happening. But yet we're still living in this. And I felt like that was a good explanation for me wanting to live in that creative crisis of like, do I conform? And then it isn't until me and Ashton meet this ghostly like figure face to face, where we look down at ourselves and we're like, holy crap, we look exactly like you now, because we've let this go unchecked. And now, you know, like you're the one that's haunting this house, and now we are, because of, you know, we've resided in this dark place, and it's kind of like a relapse into that world almost. So I felt like that was a good way for me to visualize integrity, where it was like, if I'm able to look into the mirror and see the same person from when I first started this, the same convictions, the same ideals, morals, then I think I'm good. But if I look in the mirror and other people look at me and see something completely different, something that I wasn't intended to be, I feel like that's, you know, and that's what I recognized in this past year, and constantly trying to keep myself in check. But I felt like that house kind of symbolizes, it's the symbol of the record. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Dang, that's a lot.
it's a lot.
Really, that's a really heavy emotion to carry.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
tough.
It is tough, man. But I mean, there's like, if there's anything that this past year has shown me and Ashton, with all of the doubts, where it's like, you know, we want to succeed, and is this wise to do? I mean, we're still young, and it's like everybody is, you know, all my buddies are getting degrees, they're getting their, you know, future secured. Everything is looking really safe for them. And then me and Ashton are touring around the nation, like playing for like small bars. And it's like, is this wise? And just trusting that it's going to work. And this is what we're meant to do, even if that means that we're not going to be extremely successful. Like knowing that, like, cause I just feel like there's nothing else I could do. Like, it just feels so right when I am meeting people where they are and being able to convey emotion and be a light for people. And even if that means, like, there's the lyric on this record that talks about, you know, do I settle for making mediocre music to, you know, make money and succeed? And then the bridge says, like, even if I'm going to be forgotten for the rest of my life, I think I'm good as long as I don't, you know, turn into this, you know, synthetic version of what we see outside of, you know, artists that are sacrificing their creativity just to make money and stuff. So even if, you know, I don't succeed in the way that I have always wanted to, like, pursuing the purpose and making the impact that I had always wanted to make from the very beginning is always first. So
Yeah, that's amazing. It's not an easy path either. So
It
props to
isn't.
both of you for chasing it, you know? That's really just music in a nutshell.
right.
Like,
Right.
there's no 9 to 5. Like, it's really just like a 9 to 9
Right.
day, and just like you never clock out, like
Right.
Pretty much.
stuff. But
Exactly.
yeah, it seems like you guys are definitely doing the right things.
Dude,
and it seems
I
like you
appreciate
also
that.
think a lot of like just in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost feel like you have the idea for the next record, like just sitting in your head, because the narrative is like really strong between The Haze and Napalm. So
I appreciate that.
curious to see what comes out of that. Obviously, that's not the focus.
Right,
but
right, right.
just-
I'm excited
just
though.
thinking, so.
Dude, for sure. I mean, I'm excited. There's so many things to dissect on Napalm where it's like, yeah, I mean, even just the concept of napalm, in this whole story that we've been telling, there's this running theme that light is better than dark. And, you know, just, I mean, that's the classic story of light and dark. And, but there's something so comforting about darkness. And I think,
For sure.
yeah, like, I mean, just even when I have been, you know, depressed, and there's a song on this record that talks about that, where it's like, you know, when you are better and then you look back on being depressed, there's almost a part of you that's like, why do I miss that?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just,
know if
like,
you've ever felt
easy.
that.
I don't know. It's nice to like sit in that type of feeling.
Right.
Thankfully, I'm past that, but there's definitely been times. I feel like when you're like just getting out of it, you're just like,
Right. Exactly.
I wish I was more bummed.
I know, right?
Super weird feeling.
It's
to
a
have.
weird, and so me and Ashton were talking
Super
about
weird.
that, and we're like, why is it that we miss something so terrible? Like, if we were in that right now, we would be like, I would give anything to be out of it.
It's a really
Yeah.
twisted mindset.
For sure.
I
Right.
think it's a good example on how depression or anxiety can affect the mind, where that weird feeling of like, man, I wish I could go back and be in my car and drive around being bummed out, or
Yeah,
like, or
for
like
sure.
I wish I could go into a crowd of people and feel really anxious right now, because in a weird twisted way, that's what's comforting, is
Yeah.
like being anxious when it's a horrible feeling.
Terrible.
And it's a really twisted way of living and thinking, but ultimately I think it came out as one of my favorites. off
Yeah,
the
I was actually about to
record.
ask you if you had like a sleeper favorite.
Yeah, that I'd say that song in particular that talks about that topic, which is track 2 off the album.
Okay.
That's probably my sleeper favorite off of it.
I think
I remember I asked you that in last interview. You said it was
Medication
Medication.
was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite off the Haze. That was my sleeper favorite. Like rose-colored lenses will always be like rose-colored lenses and Sunseekers will always be like my top favorites and my favorites to play live and stuff. But yeah, sleeper favors definitely Medication off the Haze, and I'd say that goes the same for this in particular record off Napalm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
It's gonna be good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. But yeah, that
What are your plans for when the album comes out?
what are
And I guess even just for like the year to come after. So, I mean,
right?
you guys like toured like fiends, bro. So-
Yeah. So
Speaking of touring,
speaking of touring,
we're gonna do it again.
we're doing it
Run
again.
back, let's
Shocker.
go.
So yeah, I mean, once the record comes out, we're gonna kind of just, you know, focus on pushing that out there. But primarily we'll be gearing up for February, we're going on tour,
Fire.
and hitting some cities. But
You know how big of a tour? Yeah. I don't know if you guys have it.
yeah,
You don't need to dive
It's
in too
about-
deep if you're not ready, but
8 shows.
yeah,
around that, and then that'll probably carry on later in the year.
You're right.
I mean,
Okay.
I
Like
think
a
I
part two
think
type beat.
yeah, I think like
Right.
next year we're planning on having 3-4 tours.
Mhm.
And the first one will be in February.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be
But yeah,
awesome.
we're gearing up for a pretty awesome headliner in Columbus, kind of as like a service to all of our fans.
I
That
think I remember hearing about this. I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to like talk about it on air because you
that is.
you definitely don't need to.
You think so? You think so? So we're headlining Newport Music Hall,
That's crazy, dude.
and
That's so tight.
yeah,
I
so
was so stoked when I heard that.
so it's been in the works for months, and we're really, really excited. But honestly, just like a service to all of our fans that have really stuck with us and really made it happen. I mean, it's surreal seeing people that I've never met before in my life come to a show and say like, your music is helping me and like impacting me. And to think that I have been given that position is just surreal, and I will forever be grateful. And like, this is one of our ways of repaying that, where it's like we want to play a show like that. So
It's gonna be sick. Do you know who your opener is?
not quite yet.
Okay, because I remember
Mhm.
you were telling me some of the options.
Yeah, we've had lists of people of
It's a hard thing to land
bands
on,
and
dude.
artists, but that's so hard to like actually like. I mean, when I
Yeah.
talked about that months ago, I mean there was probably 8 or 9 people who
Yeah.
we wanted, and but yeah, all that stuff is in the works right now. But
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting to see.
yeah, February
really
2nd.
That's when the day
February
is.
2nd. Yeah.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, Newport
That's gonna be
Music Hall.
so sick.
I'm so excited, man.
Newport's so sick. I think that was the first place I saw you guys play.
I think it
Question
was.
It was, yeah,
Exclamation
we
point?
opened,
Yeah.
open for
Zach.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
Same Motel show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was where I first met you. Yeah,
I think we
met
just
you.
like dapped each other up.
Yeah, it
at
was
the
in
merch
pa- it
table.
was
and I just-
passing.
Cade
Yeah.
like made it a really big deal, saying you just need to like look at each other. Like that's like it. Just say
Cade's
what up.
such an awesome dude.
Bro, he's been doing sound for the past few kind of consistent shows.
Dude, I hear
It's
he's
like-
killer.
He's killer.
Yeah.
He's
a
killer
beast.
at sound.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm so happy because he was actually my little in our fraternity, and
Oh, really?
neither of us like
Really?
neither of us were really that deep into music at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like coming this far down, where like you can like look up and the sound guy's Cade.
Yeah.
It's just like so sick to me. Like, it just made me really happy.
No, yeah, he's a killer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just super supportive dude too.
He is.
Yeah.
Gotta give the homies flowers. You know?
Gotta give the homies flowers. That's awesome. But yeah, dude, I'm super excited for what's in store, and it seems like we've got this tour in February, and but yeah, just still going at it, giving it our all, and working on new music. So
Yeah, it's gonna be
Mhm.
awesome, dude.
yeah,
Um,
but I'm excited for people to hear this album and kind of hear me and Ashton's thought process throughout the past year of kind of dealing with the reception of the haze and internalizing that and then throwing it into music. And I think this is a really important one for me, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
No, I'm super stoked for it.
Yeah.
So I got a segment to talk about with some questions from the homies.
From the homies.
From the homies.
Dude, let's
Sorry.
hear it.
So I hit up Zach and then Benko.
Oh,
Just texted
heck
the boys.
yes. Those are
Uh.
some of my 2 favorite human beings.
Yeah.
Dude, Benko, I love Benko.
Yeah, me too.
He's the funniest person I've ever met.
Yeah. I think I met him for the first time when Cade had people over.
Okay.
And
Was that
just-
at Cade's? I remember that.
Yeah, and just like instantly, he's just like one of the nicest people. Maybe I
Oh,
met him
yeah.
like briefly before, but that was when
He's
we
so
like chopped it
genuine.
up. But
Yeah,
a
super
good-
genuine, hilarious dude.
yeah, great energy.
Such a
So
hang.
nice. Like,
He's such a hang.
yeah, he's the best dude.
He is awesome.
So I think I'll just start with one of his questions. Then, you know, we'll give Benko
Let's
some love.
go.
He said, "This is just a text. I copy and pasted the text. So
Nice.
just bear with me." It says, "I think a really cool question is asking them both what it was like having their first headlining shows in their hometown and how they can compare it to life on tour.
Wow.
It's a really
A
good
Ben Co
question.
original.
That is a Ben Co original. Wow. I mean, nothing compares to a headlining show in the hometown. But I mean, like, both of them have their own amazing qualities where it's like they're so special in different ways. Like a hometown, it's like, those are the people that have been there since the beginning. And then you go to a city and you play, and then somebody who's like you've never met before, who you didn't even know existed, that liked your music, is there, knows every word.
That's
Like
crazy.
both feelings are just like, oh my goodness, like just like wow.
So both are amazing in just a different way.
But man, I mean, our first shows were pretty career defining, where it was just like, that was so fun.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, like Jarrett said, they're two very different worlds for sure. Headlining in your hometown is always a blast. Reiterating, it's people who know your music, who know you, who are there to enjoy your music and to see you and, be a part of it. And I think something with hometown shows is the energy is so high. There's so much adrenaline. There's so much energy. Everybody knows the words. It's a whole different type of level of performing. When you're on the road and you're playing bars with smaller crowds, and you might have 2 or 3 people who know your music, or the other 40 people has no idea who you are.
Yeah,
that
especially
is
when you're supporting on tour.
Yeah, that is a totally different ballpark.
Yeah.
That is your job is, and it always is your job, but it is primarily now making the people in front of you feel like they're a part of something and pretty much get them excited about what they're seeing on stage.
Yeah.
And that takes a whole different level of work.
Yeah.
Like I think that is something I definitely experienced on this past tour, is the type of exhaustion I felt of trying to get the 30 people in front of me and Jarrett to enjoy themselves and be excited and get into it. Because you're giving them all the energy.
For sure. Yeah, they're gonna mimic what they see.
And the difference between the hometowns and being on tour is that energy is instantly there. Is you walk out on stage at a hometown and everybody goes nuts, and you're there and you're in it, and you're probably gonna go harder than you've ever gone before.
Yeah.
But when you're on the road and you're in front of 50, 60, 100 people who don't really know who you are, it's your job to bring that energy just as hard. And it's exhausting, but it's fun. It's a fun game. It's fun
pretty
game.
rewarding at the end when it's like, you're like, I hope I won them over, and then you've got like a bunch of people who come up to your merch stand afterwards and say like, that was really cool. Like, I think that's something so special about those out of town shows where it's like on tour, where it's like, knowing that like, okay, all the people at the hometown that have been there since the beginning are not just there like because they want to support, but it's like, there are people genuinely out there in random cities that like think it's good. And
in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I think to put it in terms of emotions, like hometown shows, you do the hometown show, it's over with, you're happy, you're excited, you're satisfied, you're sad. And you're genuinely just kind of excited, and you're kind of pumped up. You're like, oh, that was awesome. I'm sad it's over. I can't wait for the next one. That was so much fun. On the road, it's more of just like, that was really rewarding. Is like I worked my butt off on that show to make sure that those people enjoyed themselves, and that's rewarding because now we have something to connect with each other, and it's more of like, cool. You know, you feel rewarded.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
One question that it really stands out for me for Zach, because I feel like this is like a prodding question. He said, "What is the most tired you guys have gotten together?"
Tired.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
god.
one
What do you
just
mean?
like
Like have we like fought? Like
I think he means like to get not
Like, have
with
we
each other, but like,
We're just this unhappy married couple fighting all the time.
this is actually the most unhealthy relationship. We just covered it
dang,
up.
yeah. You just put on a good face. Just put on a
Jeez.
skin. You're a skinwalker.
I'm a skinwalker, dude. That is crazy, dude. Tired, man. Oh man, that's hard.
Wait, can you say the question again? What was it?
What is the most tired you guys have gotten together?
Oh,
Which I mean is
together.
maybe like
So just like
performing
in
a show,
like,
in a
okay.
studio. Maybe you were at a park or something.
That's so tough. I feel like, dude, some of those studio sessions are long where it's like, man, like I feel like we're both hitting walls where it's like, man,
Yeah.
pushing through. Some songs on this record were like, we were just like, there's so much on inspiration, but it's like just pushing through that and just being like, you know, nothing's working, but we're going to keep going until something works. So it's just like, we've spent 10 hours sitting in front of a computer and haven't put a single word down. But like the whole time it's just critical thinking and we're just like nothing's happening. But I mean that like it's rewarding though. I mean this album has been so difficult to make but so rewarding at the very end. Like it's just But I feel like that's like mental exhaustion, some physical, but then there's just the physical exhaustion of tour, man, where it's like you'll be like I think it was when we were going back from Atlanta, and I remember, so our first show ever in Atlanta, we were deciding if we wanted to get a hotel or not. And I was in the mindset of like,
PTSD.
I want to save money, so let's not go to a hotel that's $70. It's a stupid idea.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
like it was a 4-hour drive back to Keenan's house.
Okay.
Keelan was
Which
like,
is reasonable enough.
yeah,
to be
reasonable
fair.
enough.
Like,
but we had a show the next day. And we had
that's
like
tough.
an 8-hour drive the
And
next
where was
day.
the show?
It was in like Ohio.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we
Dude.
went from Atlanta to Akron or Sandusky was the
So I was like, let's just
crazy.
red eye this. Let's go back to Atlanta
Yeah.
and get to Nashville so that the next day is just full. And
Yeah.
Keelan was like, that's a dumb idea, but I guess we're doing it. We were literally
Sounds like a manager thing to do.
yeah.
Totally just like you know what you should say, but you know you can't change their mind.
Yeah, right. But like we were so exhausted, and then as a meme we got to the end, we were at like Keelan's house. It was like 4 a.m, and we were like, as a meme, we're never ever gonna stay a night in Atlanta ever again, just to keep this tradition up. And
Yeah,
so
no matter
this
what.
past Atlanta show, dude, I don't think I've ever been more exhausted. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to stay awake for Keelan, like, cause he was driving, and I wanted to keep him awake. And
I fell asleep. I
Dang.
I
Owning up to it.
literally
I didn't
was
even try.
prying my eyes open like this, and then I would like unintentionally fall asleep for like 30 minutes and wake up and be like, Keelan, are you okay? It's terrible, but I mean, the wonders of tour. For some reason, dude, you like, people shouldn't love that kind of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've experienced this. You kind of did, like the day after, where it's like, that is just hard work. Nobody should enjoy it. But
Yeah.
in the weirdest way, you miss it so much. Like after
sure.
it's like that was just so much fun.
because it'll pay off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You know
'cause,
you
like,
worked for
yeah,
it, you
it's
know?
not like
Right.
I'm doing this for no, you're not putting
Yeah.
yourself through it just to do it. It's like, no, like this is for a reason.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Right.
Sure, and if you don't like it, you're probably doing the wrong thing. you know?
Exactly.
Right.
It's part of the game.
Exactly.
Right. Like it's genuinely, people shouldn't enjoy loading equipment up like a venue that's 3 flights of stairs tall and playing a show, like playing your heart out to like a small crowd of people. But like for some reason, that just gives me life, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, this is what I'm supposed to do, and so I love it, man. But it's
Shout out-
hard.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think for me, Man, I get I get tired easily, so like I can think of like 8 or 9 times I hit walls. I think the biggest one was on tour. There's probably 2 instances. There was that night where we went from Atlanta up to Nashville to Keelan's house, and I refused to sleep in a bed with Keelan. I was like, no, because like a bigger. No, it wasn't even like I don't mind sharing beds. It's like I don't have a problem with that. But it was more of like we went to Nashville.
It's more of a Keelan issue.
So that I was like, yeah, it's Keelan's
we don't
fault.
Want to be by Keelan.
Yeah, and so we mainly a big portion is like, oh, Keelan, like you get your bed, like we're gonna make sure we get home, and and I kind of viewed it as like this is for you. Yeah. And I'm not taking this is your bed. Yeah. And so I slept on his bench that goes in front of the bed.
Oh, wow.
And I woke up the next morning with the worst back pain in my life. And that lasted for like 3 or 4 days. And that was exhausting. But like, I think that was more like painful. I think exhaustion was
a different time.
when we played in Philly. My body was so tired. I was getting like chills. And I remember we went to a Philly cheesesteak restaurant by the venue, and like I just like put my hood up and tied it, ordered my food, popped Advil, and like just put my head down for like 25 minutes. And it was like I needed a minute. I am so tired and I'm in so much pain. And then Michael from the Astronomers was like, he's like, what do you think about your food? I was like, I can't even think about that right now.
I don't know, man.
Michael, man.
What was your favorite moment from tour?
Dude, I feel like
I guess flip that to a positive.
Right. Yeah, well, dude, like
a lot of amazing things.
I feel like just the shows in general, but like the band we toured with, the Astronomers.
And also, I'd love to get a song rec of theirs.
Dude, okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
Hotel Rooms, if you like good pop. Casita. Do you like AJR?
A little bit.
Okay. They're a little like AJR. But let's see.
I used to love
Orange Afternoon by these. Yeah.
It's a cool title.
Hotel Rooms and Orange Afternoon. Those two are really, really good.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
Well, they suck.
They're the worst.
They're literally the best, dude. Yeah. I mean, I've toured with a few headlining bands in my life, like with Jay, but like none of them have come to the experience I've had with the Astronomers. It was like literally a hangout for a month. Yeah. It was just so much fun. They're the most genuine people, so much fun to be around, and they really take their art seriously, and incredible performers, and they've got great, easy to listen to music. I mean, they get everybody in the room, just like everyone becomes part of this family almost. And it's just, that was so much fun to be, with them. I mean, there's no better band to be, with on a month long tour with, and it was just so much fun. But I mean, the shows themselves, I don't think anything tops just like being in front of people, winning over crowds, and seeing people that are familiar with your music, that are singing the lyrics. It's just so much fun. But
you have a favorite city from tour? Sorry, that was a little loud.
No, that wasn't loud.
Ew, dude, you fart? You fart on the podcast, dude?
That's my bad,
dude.
bro.
Do you ever you creak something and it sounds like a fart, and then you have to recreate it immediately to let people know around you subconsciously. It wasn't a fart. You try and you can't
try to recreate and you can't.
Yes, dude.
You're like, well,
I guess it was.
People progressively are looking at you like, bro, you just rip.
Chicago was probably my favorite.
What was the venue there?
Beat Kitchen.
Beat Kitchen. Yep.
Love that name.
That was probably actually favorite city, and up there with one of my favorite moments on tour. One of the most positive parts of tour was Chicago. Chicago is just a dope city. We went to Portillo's after the show at 1 in the morning.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a really famous.
I nodded my head out of it.
It's a really famous hot dog Chicago style hot dog, and
Didn't
they
know that was a
have
thing.
they have a shake called the chocolate cake shake
That-
that I've wanted to
However.
try.
Top moment of tour.
I want for me it was really good for me. I wanted to try it
Yeah,
since like middle school.
that's
there
on my
was,
list now for sure.
There's a comedian called Fluffy, and he has
Oh,
a whole,
Gabriel
yeah,
Iglesias?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has a whole bit on the chocolate cake shake. And I remember when I
Dang.
watched that, I was like, I can't wait to try this someday. So
Yeah.
that was like a moment of
Dang.
truth for me. I was like, oh, I got to try the chocolate cake shake.
But the hot dogs, man.
The hot dogs,
Bro.
no hate to
Yeah.
Chicago style, but that it wasn't for me.
It wasn't. I
You
mean,
like them?
they tasted all right, but like
I'm not a hot dog fan, so let it out.
same here.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
not a
like
big
it's
hot
not
dog
For
person.
sure.
right.
It's like, okay, this
They were
might,
good when I didn't have like taste buds.
this might be exactly if I can't taste it, I'll eat it. I feel like if there's anybody from Chicago that's watching this or still listening, I feel like this is going to be so wrong, but I feel like the Chicago style hot dog was like trying to make a burger on a hot dog. So there was like tomatoes, there was pickle, there was like onions, mustard, and ketchup. So it was almost like a burger but on a hot dog.
right.
Dang, bro, I used to make
And
this.
maybe
thing
that's
called
like totally wrong, but that's how I
Yeah.
interpret it. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't really vibe with
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
I'll pull up and let you know my thoughts on that.
Okay.
But growing up, I actually had something really similar to that. But it was like a homemade thing. We called it a hot burger.
A hot burger. Yeah, I feel
Burger?
like that's kind
That's
of
like
what,
a core memory. It's
it's
just like
kind of
a
what a
Burger.
Chicago style is, a hot burger.
It's crazy.
Whip up a
No,
hot
yeah,
burger.
Chicago's probably my favorite city. I think the most positive moment was probably that show.
I thought you were gonna say the shake.
The shake, yeah, it was the shake. That was my favorite part of the tour.
Never touring again. It
Um,
was just a shake.
Yeah, it's purely to go to restaurants in these cities.
Yeah, I think, that show in particular was just really good. Even though it was stressful, like our in-ears were cutting out like that entire show, and it was stressful, but like that was still one of my favorite shows. I think first time being in that city, ending the tour on that, it was a bigger crowd, and people seemed to really enjoy it, and I think for me and for Jarrett, being able to see that, where it's like is a bigger crowd, and the last night of tour, seeing that all these different people that are coming from different places in life, all coming together. We talked about this with Michael from the Astronomers, where it's like there are so many different people in a crowd at a show, and people are experiencing so many different things, or might be experiencing the same thing. And basically, it doesn't matter who you are or what you're going through or what you've done or whatever. Like, seeing everybody come together and be accepted at a show is one of the most important things and one of the most rewarding things ever, is to bring everybody together and be like, everybody is welcome here. It doesn't matter who you are. We're just going to have a good time for 30 minutes. And I think at Chicago, I felt that the most.
Okay.
And that's kind of why that ended up being the highlight for me, is I felt that at its peak on tour with Chicago, where I'm like, I see so many different types of people here, and I know some of the people here, and talking to some of the people, there are a lot of, everybody's just coming from different places, and everybody is joined together, and it was a really good show. So
Yeah, that's awesome. At the Beat Kitchen.
at the Beat Kitchen in Chicago.
Beat Kitchen.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I've heard really good things about Chicago shows, just from like
It's awesome.
seeing them, performing them. Like, it's just a great city.
It's
So
awesome.
much fun.
Chicago.
That had to be one of my favorites too. That
Yeah.
was just so
Do you have a favorite?
I think it was either that or Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee
Whoa.
was our start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But I mean, like, dude, I feel like every one of those shows had its moments for me where it was just like, man, this one, like, could have been a smaller one, but I like felt like I really connect, like, with
Yeah.
everyone in the room, and that like I felt like that really exercised the frontman aspect of being in a band, like just connecting no matter who's in the room, or what demographic of person, where it's like if they're old people or like younger person, like just like grabbing them and just being like, yeah, this is the show, and putting on a show. And I mean, it was a super rewarding month.
Yeah, like in Detroit, the people who enjoyed our show the most in Detroit was an older couple. Like they were super into it, and that was like one of the coolest things ever. Where it was like, yeah, like you're a totally different demographic than what most people listen to this. Like most people who listen to kind of alternative pop is like 15 to 24, but like seeing a demographic of people that people might not really think they listen to that music. They were like the biggest fans that night, and that was like really awesome. That was really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, it's cool that you can experience just moments like that on tour. My goal is to go on a tour here soon.
Dude.
With do you know Liam?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
is he going on tour?
We want him to soon.
That's awesome.
And just something.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for it.
Dude, and for those of you who don't know on this podcast, I got sick for the show.
Yeah.
I was but so kind of consistent was throwing a show, and we were going to play, and literally like days before, like I got laryngitis and pneumonia.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't even know what laryngitis is for real.
Dude, it was so it's like swelling up in your throat.
Yeah, I know like the meaning of, because I took like medical terminology, so I was like, I know larynx is like throat.
Right.
Itis is inflammation.
Yeah,
like that can't be good for a singer.
Dude, I remember the day before the show, I was like, surely I can make this happen. Mm-hmm. And I got in my car, tried singing like Rose-Colored Lenses. I threw it on, and I couldn't even get through half the song. And I was like, dude, I sound terrible. And I was like, is there any way I could do this? Like, man. But I heard it went great, though.
Yeah, it was super good energy.
Dude, that's amazing. Awesome. But yeah, we were so bummed. We were like, dang
it. That was the first time we've ever had to cancel a show. And yeah, we were pretty bummed of it. New territory too, to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Same here, dude.
Very bummed that we weren't able to do that. But
I think it was perfect that it was with the group that it was, though.
Dude, for real.
I think it was really in-house.
Yeah.
Like, even just the artist performing, like everybody just was like,
yeah.
Because I mean, obviously your health is the most important thing.
Dude,
no matter how you spin it, like that is what matters.
Right.
But,
but dude, I mean,
no bad blood at all. Like,
dude, I appreciate it. Dude, I felt so bad. I was like, no.
I'm sure it must be tough for you, because you were just like, damn, like, literally nothing I can do.
Dude, for real. Because I was so excited for this one. But I mean, Grog is such a fun venue, too.
Yeah, I love the Grog.
It's a dope venue to play.
Dope venue. But yeah, Liam headlined it, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he pulled up. I called him like after Keeler and I were like playing phone tag with the venue. And I was like, bro, can you headline? And it was probably my favorite set he's ever played.
Oh, that's awesome. Did he change a lot like to his set, or was it just like, that's pretty awesome?
He didn't change like anything.
That's awesome.
He just balled out.
Yeah, he really just like pulled up, and him and his band just went crazy.
Dude.
I think the only thing is they played one more song than usual, and then they had an encore, which was just a cover that they weren't planning to play.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
They just like, also he had like invited everybody on the stage, and I was like, I don't know if you can do that, but I'm gonna jump too.
I saw pictures of that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really cool. That's cool.
Yeah. No, he like balled out that show.
That's awesome.
I've never seen him like so in his bag before.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
But I mean, it all works out for a reason.
Right? Exactly.
Clearly, we're still doing stuff together.
Still doing stuff together. Still hanging.
Yeah.
Talking about Portillo's and
Vikings. And
Viking shows.
That's crazy. Viking shows, dude. I want a Viking statue on stage.
For sure. That's the next edition.
That is the next edition.
So the last question I like to ask people is, I don't know if I had this when you were on. I've always thinking like pods always have like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite podcasts is they have a can like this, and you have to open it with one hand, and you get like rated on like how much splash there is, like if you get any dents. And I thought about just totally stealing that, but just out of respect, I was like, maybe I'll do it a few times.
That's kind of awesome.
That's kind of
super cool.
Wow.
So I'm still working on like a thing like that.
Okay.
But my favorite thing to ask is, what is something you both are actively learning? Whether it's as people, as musicians, as just anything, whatever
Wow.
comes to mind.
I feel like for my own self, discipline for sure. Like, especially in my career, where it's like I really want to get in a rhythm, learn how I operate creatively, and really harness that, put myself in an environment where that thrives, and figure out when it doesn't and stuff like that, and kind of get rid of unhealthy thought processes when writing my music or using that to write about it. But I think discipline for sure. I think that's something I've always struggled with, where it's like, yeah, waking up late in the day, where it's like, you know, maybe a change of pace, where it's like early in the morning, maybe that inspires something creatively. So I think trying new things, especially with this, you know, next project, I want to really just stretch myself and see what works, how my personality works when I'm really disciplined, and what kind of product that brings.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I'd never thought I'd be a morning person, but it just accidentally happened. You know,
Dude, that's
I don't
pretty
want to
awesome.
be, actually. I like sleeping.
When do you go to bed?
Like 12:30.
Okay.
At the
there you go.
latest, usually.
There you
So
go.
nothing crazy.
That's not too
Standard,
bad,
you
right?
know? Yeah.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about you? What's something you're doing right now?
It's a really good question. Probably self-care is a really important one. That's probably something I'm trying to continue to not only do but actively learn about. Especially with touring, you have to take care of yourself.
For sure.
If you don't
Especially
eat
when you're
right,
eating gas
yeah.
stations.
If you don't, like, if you don't eat right, if you don't sleep enough, if you don't take care of yourself, you will that will affect you mentally and physically. And I think I actively try to put things in my daily that is good for me. So especially like gearing up for a tour, like I'd work out every day. I do a ton of cardio, take a lot of medicine, like good medicine, like vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc,
Bunch of pills. yeah.
Popping pills,
popping
bro.
a lot of pills. No, yeah,
Rockstar
I think
life, baby.
yeah, I think just learning how to actively take care of myself
Like
and
proactively rather than reactively.
just mentally and physically,
Yeah.
being able to like come home from being on the road for a month and be like, okay, what else can I do with my day other than music? Like what can I go step into? What kind of other
Yeah.
hobbies can I do? Who can I be with? And what community can I go hang out with and,
For
you know,
sure.
enjoy? And so yeah, probably just continuing to learn how to just take care of myself and be the healthiest I possibly can be, because this career, you know, for some people in normal day-to-day lives might look at it and be like, oh, it's short-lived, but 15, 20 years, you know, you need to be healthy to, you know, live that
Longevity, you know?
live that long in your career. So
Yeah. That's really cool, because I feel like we were talking last podcast episode. I asked you what are like some of your hobbies, and I feel like when you answered it last time, you're just like, it's just music, like that's just it, that's all I ever want to do, that's all it ever is. But I think this is kind of like I don't know, just a different side of that, which is cool.
yeah,
Kind of like trying to step out, so you
Yeah.
can step in harder.
like I like
dope.
to like
Right.
now it's like, okay, I like to go find cool coffee shops, or like I like to explore food,
Yeah.
or like little things like that, or like I'll go hang out with like my best buds, you know.
For sure.
It's like that's like good hobbies to have.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more important than we give it credit for sometimes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think now is probably the age we start thinking about it.
Right.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I didn't really think about it too much, because in the beginning it was just like grind.
Right.
Like I don't even need to be a person. Like I'm just gonna make the work. I'm gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
And then I feel like when you get your bearings, and like you
Yeah,
have
and
more
like-
tours under your belt, you can kind
And
of
like to an extent, that's like true. Like it is like you have to wake up every day and
sure.
be like, okay, this is I am dedicated to my craft, and I am dedicated to making it better every single day. And that is true. The grind is there, but then it's also like you got to be able to balance yourself in a way to where you can still stay healthy and do it right, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
yeah, it's an ongoing thing, but that's cool. Self-care is always the move.
Yeah,
For
man.
sure.
And yeah, that just about wraps it up. So is there anything you guys want to promote? Anything coming up? We kind of talked about it, but want to recap
Yeah.
it for us?
Album, October 20th.
Newport, February 2nd.
That's going to be
So
so
cool.
cool.
Tour in February.
Coming up.
And
Viking props soon.
Viking props. Burning on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen. Riley as a backup dancer.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll backup dance to Smog.
For
sure.
Yes, it's
Get that
show
in the works.
smog themed. That's crazy. But yeah, I think that's about it.
And where can people find you on like socials?
Jady Music. Jady Music. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok. That's on Jady, Jady is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube, all of it, anywhere that you listen to music. But
Personal accounts are also there too.
yeah,
Ashton, Bergdorf, Jarrett, Doherty.
yeah, that's true.
If you want to.
Do you ever use your personal?
Not really. I mean, I would love to at some point, but
Yeah.
right now, no, not really. I need to.
I don't think necessarily you need to.
Yeah,
I think it'll make sense for you when the time comes.
you're right. Yeah, that's what I feel.
'Cause that's almost like the skin walker thing, you know? Kind of
Right.
like doing something you're not. Like you don't need to force it,
Right?
especially at this point.
Exactly.
People know you don't really use socials.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. So I mean, yeah, at some point when it feels right, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Jady Music.
Check
Listen.
out Jady.
Check out Jady.
Yeah, I'm stoked for all that stuff coming. For
Dude,
real.
Thanks, dude.
I
I'm
can't wait to
really
hear what you
excited.
think of the album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be sick.
It's
I'm
gonna
really
be
excited.
awesome. I'm so excited. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I appreciate you boys coming on.
dude, seriously,
Actually,
thank you so much.
yeah, for sure. That was cool because I mean, I got to know you on the pod,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like now I also got to know you on the pod,
Sick.
which is like probably my favorite byproduct of the podcast. It's just like literally like memorializing the moment you actually connected with somebody, which is
Right.
tight.
That's awesome.
And I also think this was the first pod I've had with 2 guests.
Really?
I think I'm like trying to rack my brain. I guess I've had like co-hosts before, but I've never had 2 guests.
wow.
So,
Also, I hope I wasn't out of frame this entire thing.
I've been feeling the same thing about me, but I know we checked it.
Okay, because I know I shifted over here a lot. I don't know. Oh.
I did too. I shifted a little
Yeah.
as well. So
Who cares?
yeah, that's just showbiz.
Yeah, that's just showbiz. It's literally just Ashton in the center, just focal
Just-
point, just half of
looking
me
in
and
different
Riley.
this is part 2.
That's awesome.
Literally Ashton part 2. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys coming on and stoked for what's to come.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I
having us.
appreciate it.
Burn everything evil so it don't go back again. Let me be your small